My name is Ulla Dalsgaard, and I am from IBM in Denmark. I lead a resource and capacity management function in the Nordics. And then I'm a member of IBM's worldwide LGBT network called EAGLE at IBM. And in addition to that, I run an external LGBT business network, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. And this is, if anything, a networking event. So I'm really pleased to be one of the first speakers on this topic. And I hope that you can all get some inspiration to go home and do something like this in your home country. It's called Networking 101. I'm going to talk to you about the basics of networking. My hypothesis would be that this is applicable to any kind of network, but I'm going to speak to you about this LGBT business network as an example. But before I do that, let me share just a little bit of my personal story with you. I came out not too many years ago. And before that, I had a lovely husband. I had almost no homosexual friends or colleagues. So I had no idea what would happen to me as a person, as to my social life, to my work life when I came out. No clue. But what I did do was I changed jobs. At this point in time, I really needed a fresh start somehow, so I joined IBM. And then there was this thing called the LGBT network, EAGLE. I mean, wow, there were people just like me who looked relatively cool and happy and had nice careers and good lives, and that was just what I needed at that point in time. So my mission here is to tell you about networks, why they're so important, because I discovered that myself, and for you to be inspired to go home and do it as well. The Danish LGBT Business Network was founded a little over 2 years ago, where a number of people from IBM and Microsoft, the competitors, got together because we both have these internal employee networks, and we wanted to join forces and help other companies and institutions create just that, internal LGBT networks. So we met at a conference, and then we started off this network 2 years ago, had a starting event and created a LinkedIn forum. And what has happened since then is actually that, well, we defined our mission statement like this. It's a build, you can read it, but basically we wanted to help other companies create internal networks to raise awareness about LGBT in their companies, wherever you work, and then to network. And that part of it has become increasingly important. So we started off with this LGBT political statement, but the network as such has now grown. And I think that's why one of the reasons we're successful. It's a professional network for people who have something in common. And we meet and we do what you do at network meetings. You exchange business cards. Some people have got new jobs. Some have got consulting engagements. Some even met a partner. That's a neat spin-off of meetings sometime. So our mission statement still stands. We might revise it later, but this is what it looks like. And where we are right now, in 2 years, ta-da, is that we've grown from nothing to 215 members, of which almost half is female. Yeah. Thank you. It's amazing. And we have a handful of straight allies who keep coming to the meetings, so they must be finding it interesting too. We have about a handful of transgender as well. I would say the average age is probably mid to late 30s, so there's a lot of skills and knowledge and competency in that network that you can learn from. And it goes from students through managing consultants to managing directors, somebody who has their own company, somebody who's between jobs, so you get a very broad representation of the business life in Denmark. So that's who we are. And what we do is we meet quarterly. We have pretty good meetings each quarter at different locations. Some of the companies very nicely lend out facilities like this and maybe a snack afterwards, because that's also a way of branding your company. And we attracted some interest from the media, and it just keeps growing by word of mouth and by somebody bringing along a friend or a partner to the meeting. So it grows that way, organically, really. So this is what we've done in 2 years. And my point here is to inspire you to how to do that. So how do you create a successful network in 2 years for people who'd have just one thing in common? What do? You entertain them. And by that, I don't mean song and dance shows or anything along those lines, but you put some meat onto the bone here. What you don't want to do is sit in a conference room, discuss LGBT politics and issues, at least not all the time. You put something else into those meetings, which makes it interesting. So everybody goes home and they've learned something new or discovered something they didn't know, got some inspiration. So that's what we do. So some examples of what we've had on our agenda. Loads of things. We had a very interesting thing about intercultural management. Actually, Gert Hofstede is Dutch, I believe. He used to be an IBMer. He's created a very widely used model for comparing national cultures. It's really, really interesting. Very powerful, by the way. So we had a lesson about that. We had something called radical collaboration, ways of improving the way you work together, teaming up, personality profiles, life navigation. I think Camilla Kring was here last year speaking about her concept also of working more efficiently. And you can read for yourselves. And last but not least, we had a spin-off which was a golf tournament, Rainbow Open. Some of us got together and said, hey, why don't you play golf, don't you? Yeah, let's make a tournament. So we did. So we did that last year and this year as well. I got the 3rd prize. So these are all things that came out of, well, people getting together with one thing in common, but then putting something into these meetings. And that's what I think works well here. Right. So you want to do something interesting. You also want to keep the LGBT focus at some point. So you could put in how to prepare for Pride participation, Pride in a box, or your experiences from going there. And remember, one of the things we started with was helping other companies have straight ally networks, LGBT networks. So more and more companies in Denmark are marching in the Pride, not just small fractions, but companies like those who are represented here, public institutions, etc. And we talk about that. And the next time we're meeting is actually going to be on the National Danish Film School. We're going to sit in one of the studios. That's going to be nice. And hear something about leading creative workplaces. I'm looking forward to that. That's completely new to me, at least. So that's how we do it. The second thing you want to do is to make it professional. And first of all, you get a logo. One of the network members designed this one. He's a graphic designer, so he gets a bit of promotion that way. You decide whether you want to use LinkedIn or Facebook. We went for LinkedIn because it signals some professionalism, at least in my country. That's where you put your nice photos and your CV, etc. But you need to find something that's widely used so you can reach out to everybody. You send out invitations to the meetings, you make it run crisp and clear, really. Then we started off with having English as our group language, because we had a number of expats working for various companies in Copenhagen who were part of this network. So we started off in English. We're slowly moving into Danish because it does create a barrier. So that's something you would want to consider, which language you would be using. And then how you run it, the governance. I mean, I'm driving the network now. I may want to step down from that position and somebody else should take over, also for getting new inspiration and creativity. Maybe there should be some kind of rotation. You would want to consider that as well. Also, who decides who can be a member or not? At this point, everybody is invited, but you might want to have somebody as a function there. You would want some media coverage if you can get it, so get a journalist onto the network. That is the tip from me to do that. Then the channels are open, basically. And then provide some very well-organized meetings, hand out participant lists so everybody can see who's here as well, because that's why we get together to network. So those are my do's and don'ts about creating a successful network. My mission here is to tell you to go home and do exactly that, because I know that there's somebody out there who will need you to do that. Thank you.